Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Trust Relations, the podcast.
I'm here with April, the founder of Trust Relations and the doyen of all things public relations.
And of course, we're joined by the wonderful Hamish, our marketing lead and expert in the space, who I like to call my marketing other half.
We're tackling some of the biggest topics in news and integrated marketing and learning from the mistakes that make headlines or sink brands.
So join us as we have a chat about what works, what doesn't, and what we have to say about all of it.
Thank you.
Well, that's a pleasure. Okay.
So Hamish, what's new?
Well, it's been a busy week, getting back on top of a few things and tackling a few more projects as people get back on their own feet this year. It's been all systems a go. Go, 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 go. Go, grease line in your Sorry.
Well, he's doing the whole musical by himself. This is amazing. all the parts, all the musical parts.
Yeah, I've even
all
got
the
the car. I'm
voices.
going to jump up in a second.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Let's see it.
And how about you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to think. Let's see. The ice is starting to melt finally. But what were you going to say?
Nothing. I was going to channel Mr. Tompkins again. I don't know what's going on with me.
Ooh, what were you going to say?
From your cold heart.
I'm working on it.
The ice is melting.
Did you see how hard I thought about that?
Yeah, I know. And I don't mean it. You've got a beautiful, warm heart, and I don't know what came over me. I'm very sorry, April. I don't think it ever.
Hi, everyone. This is your show producer, Veronica, chiming in with today's communications buzzwords. April's word is communique. And for Hamish, the word is promulgate. Happy listening.
So, what are you most excited for this week? Or most grateful for this week?
I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers in concert a week ago or so.
So did Taryn. Were you at the same concert?
I have no idea. Taryn, were you at the same concert? I know they had a couple of Sydney shows, and the one I went to was crap.
Why? What happened?
Yeah, you know that whole thing where you went, we like your old stuff better than your new stuff? Yeah, it was that. There was no crowd engagement. No one knew their new stuff. Some of it was okay, but it makes it very hard to get engaged and feel like it's a concert that, is what you want it to be. Because they dropped 2 albums in the last couple of years that no one really knows not in Australia anyway, because they never took off. And as much as I've listened to some of it, I hadn't fallen in love with it. And I wanted to go there for their old stuff. And
give it away now. Give it away now. Give it away now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that didn't happen. Did you get to hear that song?
No.
What?
No, they played So Psycho Sexy, which I was quite happy about, though. That's one of my favorites, and they played that.
Okay. What else did they play of the old stuff?
Scar Tissue. They played Californication. Yeah, they played about 6 or 7 songs that.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, So, was I impressed? No, I was not.
Oh, and I'm sure it was not a cheap concert.
No. Mild hot chili peppers. No, red hot mild peppers. Red mild chili peppers. Red mild chili peppers.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer.
Yeah, they got panned in the press as well. The media was not complimentary, and neither was social media. Yeah.
Is there like an official complaint, like some official communique that people went out and were like, F this people?
Let's see if I can find a headline quickly.
Wow.
Let's read this one quickly. Longtime fans have accused the Red Hot Chili Peppers of an underwhelming Sydney concert with not enough hits, and some have even claimed they will never see them perform again. The American rock band. Blah, blah, blah. It's been more than 2 decades since the Peppers' huge success with the 1999 album Californication and 2002, by the way. But the band's latest 2 albums, Unlimited Love and Return of the Dream Canteen, only dropped last year. The band has come under fire for its set list, with some fans taking to social media with scathing reviews. Wish I could take back my decision to go to see the RHCP. Absolutely gutted by that performance, one person wrote on Facebook in response to a post from Acor's statement. Well, that was disappointing. Definitely won't be seeing them again, declared another fan. Good experience, but I wouldn't see them again. Their set was new song focused, and the crowd struggled to really feel it. Criticised a third. Been their biggest fan all my life, and after that concert, I would never go again. Played a few old songs, but mostly new rubbish that no one knows. Confirmed another. So there you go. That's my multiple persona reading of this. You get the idea.
I wanted to do more where you have to read with different voices. That was my favorite part.
That's my news. There's my news. Hello. How are you?
Aw. Okay, that's good. I
I
mean,
had high hopes.
very interesting.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So our first segment of the day is marketing conundrum.
Mm,
And
yeah.
the question is, what should this brand do?
Yeah.
So Southwest damaged trust in its airline. And now there's some data on just how badly the Southwest Christmas meltdown damaged overall trust in the airline's brand. And so let's take a look at, this is from PR Daily.
The headline, How Southwest Damaged Trust in Airlines. It says, we now have some data on just how badly the Southwest Christmas meltdown damaged overall trust in the airline industry.
Yes.
According to a new
No.
Morning Consult poll, trust in airlines has fallen 4% since the fiasco.
Got it. So the bigger issue here is that these numbers actually show that there was decreased trust, not just for Southwest, but the entire airline industry.
Mhm.
And some people thought that their trouble will be other airlines' gain. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, what happened is it actually exposed this overall weakness across the entire category.
We've seen these sort of meltdowns occur on a much more regular basis, and it really just has to do with outdated processes and outdated IT. Captain Casey Murray, the president of the airline's pilot union, told CNN. It's phones, it's computers, it's processing power. It's the programs used to connect us to airplanes. That's where the problem lies, and it's systemic through the whole airline. Well, if that's coming from within the airline, that's pretty damning. No wonder trust fell. We don't
Yeah,
have the
it's bad.
technology to put planes in the air. Well, these things just fly, and we don't know how. That's what that says. Southwest cancelled a whopping 85% of its flights on a Monday and accounted for 53% of all Tuesday's US flight cancellations. Holy
Mm.
moly. Yeah.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
all these unions were speaking out against it too. So the massive meltdown began in the wake of a large winter storm at Christmas time, one of the busiest travel times, obviously. And then
Mhm.
while the other airlines managed to recover their schedules, Southwest legacy technology couldn't keep up with the rate of changes. More than 16,700 flights were canceled and 2 million passengers were stranded.
Wowzers. Well, like I know that their model isn't, it's to use hubs that are outside the major airport hubs, isn't it? And so
Mm-mm.
that's cost savings for them, cost savings for customers. But what it also means is that they don't have the network to redirect flights as easily, and therefore they can't pivot as quickly as their competitors. So they were.
Yeah.
I think
So
that the problem is that the industry. I mean, people trust airlines because they believe that planes go in the air, and I don't know how this works, and technology is just awesome, and therefore I can trust these. And there's all those statistics about it's safer to fly than it is to drive, and all of that. But when your airline comes out and says, "Oh, we're gonna make sure everybody knows that we failed because technology is not up to scratch," and that those become promulgated within the industry, and with most people talking about it, because an airline in the actual union has come out as the speaker and said, "Well, we don't have the technology for this, and we don't have the phones and computers talking to each other. How the hell can the consumer who trusts that these are just going to work trust you anymore?" Sorry, that was a bit of a
yeah.
rant.
Yeah. So the New York Times wrote that Southwest uses a point-to-point route model that often lets passengers fly directly from smaller cities, to your point, Hamish, and regions without having to stop at the central hubs, right? And then the other larger carriers like United and American rely on the hub and spoke model, which planes usually fly from smaller cities to a big hub airport, where then passengers change planes. So
Mm.
they said it's harder to have reserve of standby crew members and pilots when airlines are serving many smaller markets. And there's not usually excess crews in places like Syracuse, New York, So as a result, their cancellations created a really giant snowball effect that rippled across all of its carefully choreographed network, right? Leaving these planes and crews stranded nationwide. So it was a really big mess. So in essence, if you study it carefully, then you understand that these other airlines that are using a different model actually wouldn't necessarily have the same issues. But I do think in general, I mean, I know I was hearing from people, well, I'm never flying at the holidays again, or I'm only going to drive because I don't want to get stranded. And I don't, so it turned into this sort of overall perception in the US that I even heard about people not just deciding they're not going to mess with it because they don't want to end up, they'd rather spend the holiday at home than spend the holiday stuck trying to get somewhere else to another home, to their childhood home or whatever it is. The interesting thing from that article in PR Daily is that they're talking about how basically a lot of times when your competitors have a crisis, it can be looked at as something you can capitalize on in a way, which is a bit vulturistic and gross. But really what I think the point that they're trying to make is that it doesn't necessarily help you if your industry gets sort of swept into the whole crisis as part of it, right?
Was capitalize your word of the day?
It was not.
I feel like something in there. You said something, but that was the word that I picked up. But I think you're right. This is one of those moments where if everyone wins, everyone wins. And when one person loses, everybody loses. And it shows that sometimes it's more about what an industry is doing than what an individual company is doing. And in this instance, trust has gone down because people don't think that the industry is doing what it needs to. There is a tarnish there now that is going to need to be rectified.
Yeah. And then for the airlines that are different and do have this different model, they're going to need to bolster the trust among their customers by showing how they're different.
Yeah.
And explaining that as best they can. Although it's very boring and I don't think most people are going to want to know about that. But they're going to have to try hard to get that message out.
If you were Southwest, you would have to be finding new centers for your hubs or having fallback models that would allow you then to go out there with a positive message and say, look, we heard the complaints, we saw what happened, and this is the actions that we have taken to make sure this doesn't happen again. That's the only way you can recover from that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've invested $5 in new infrastructure, whatever it might be.
I think it'd have to be more than $5, but yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Spendthrift. Okay. I'm sorry. All right.
Shall we move on to campaign essentials?
I think so. Thank you.
Okay.
That was good.
So what are 3 things to consider when you develop or pay an agency to develop a brand activation or event?
Very good question. I think it's something that a lot of people think about. Actually, I think there's 2 schools here. There's one that people plan it meticulously and they think about it through and through. And then there's others who don't see the nuances and understand what's at play here. If we look at it as a brand activation or an event or anything like that, I think that the first thing you need to do as a brand is consider what are you doing with regards to how does it fit into your general strategic plans. You can have an event, and let's say you're a company that works in software. You're having an event. Why are you having an event? What is this going to do for people? How does that therefore tie into what your strategic goals are as a business? If you know your goal this year as a brand is that you need to grow user numbers, or you need to stop churn because people are trialing, and then your freemium model means that once it comes time to pay, they've realized that you're overpriced, or whatever it might be. You might want to step back and go, okay, well, why are people churning out from us so quickly? Are they using all the features of it, or are we too expensive? And you need to understand that and then go, okay, well, our business goal is we've got to stop the churn, and go and have a look at what you and I have speak to a lot of clients about, which are those light bulb moments. What are the things that if people knew would stop them from thinking about anybody else, or from churning out, or from taking as long to decide? And in this instance, it might be that you have a look and you go, okay, only 10% of people are using 80% or more of our product features, and the rest are using 35%. So when it comes time to pay and go from the free to the premium model, they think, well, I'm for 35% that I'm using here, I'm not going to be paying $100 a user, whatever it might be. And if you can see that people are not using your technology to the level that they should, or they don't know that these other features exist, well, that then should become your strategic imperative. Okay, people don't know about this. And therefore, our goal for the year ahead is to stop churn by letting people know that there are more product features or things that they could be utilizing this platform for.
Mm.
So it's not about a message about we're cheaper or we need to drop price. So then the activation or the event in this instance becomes, okay, we're going to teach you how to become a power user, or we're going to teach you how this platform integrates with other things which make your life easier and can give you product efficiencies, or whatever else it might be, and find those light bulb moments. So I think the long answer to the first part of that question is the first thing you need to do is think about, well, what are you doing this for? And the second part is, and what do you want to achieve from that? And you want to make sure that when you're using an agency in this instance, that they're not doing it and going, okay, well, we're just going to go out there and we're going to find the decision makers, because the decision makers are the ones that are going to be the ones who sign up. That's not going to be enough. You don't want an agency to go out there and be campaigning on your behalf to just get all of the CMOs in, or the CTOs or whatever, if they don't understand that there's more to this. You need them to go, okay, well, the strategic model is stop the churn, tell people more about the features, and get them to understand that the price is on point.
Mm.
The event needs to focus on those three things. So whether it's internal or whether it's, as I say, engaging an agency, I think that those elements are some of the things that you need to consider right off the bat. And then you can roll into, well, how do we promote this, and how does our marketing integrate in a way where all of the messages that we're taking out to promote that support each other? So are we doing PR to drive people to a landing page on our website that will help them sign up? Is social media directing them there? Once they've signed up, what are we doing to then remind them about this, to keep the buzz alive? Are we putting them on an email list? Is that integrated and reminding them there's only 7 days to go or 7 weeks to go? Are we then sending them information and tickets which will get them excited and souped up? Are we giving them discounts? You get the idea. It's all about making sure that the integration then exists outside the model of just, well, we've got people signed up. It's the unboxing, it's the reveal. And then make sure when they get to the event that the event is true to your brand. Make it easy. Don't treat people who are there like they are first-time users, and by the same token, don't assume that everyone there has familiarity with everything. You have to find that middle line. You have to walk people, take them on a journey. You want to make sure that you're speaking to them in a way that is true to who they are as an audience and who you are as a brand. And I'm going to take a breath and let you talk. I'm sorry.
No, I think the point you made about it needing to be true to the brand is the most important. And I know I've said this before, but what's interesting is that the very best brand activations are the ones that have a no duh factor. So it seems like a very obvious organic extension of the brand.
Yeah.
That's actually much harder to achieve than it sounds. And anything where it's like you have to take a very far walk to get to the point of the brand, or, it's too convoluted, or there's too many weird, what was it? Was it Fritos that did the weird tents at Coachella or something like that? And it was like, you had to take a really long walk to understand why Fritos would have tents at Coachella. Oh yeah, that's what it was. To circle back to this. So what happened, if you don't remember this, is that Frito-Lay did at Coachella this 4-course meal, seated dining experience, where they were asking them to taste Lay's chips in their freshest form using potatoes sourced from local farms, and then being served within 24 hours of being made. And then they had, these Potadomes. Potadome. Potadomes. Potadomes. There it is. That's it. That's what they're trying to say. So obviously for me to have to take that long to get that together. So they had these 4 different domes. So you could have a 4-course meal. And then they had like the studio with the DJ transforming the potato chips into a hip hop beat, and a golden glow space where the radiating rings came to life with dynamic lighting synced to electronic music, to feel the energy of Lay's. And then they had the Lay's flavor pop. It was a space that pairs one of the brand's most unique assets. It's bold flavors with uplifting sounds of pop music. So at any rate, it's overproduced, right?
So a lot more thought than people put into their potato chips.
Yes. Yes.
I don't go and go, oh, I think that today I'm feeling a bit down. I need to turn my mood around. So I'm going to go for something zesty.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
So
what do I feel like? Yeah, I'll grab that one. That's good.
also, I think when you're at Coachella, the last thing you're thinking about is going to a 4-course meal in domes, right? That are like for a brand. And it seems really forced. So at any rate, not to take too much of a shot at Lay's here, because it was definitely very creative and they tried very hard. But I think that really the point is that they show just how difficult it is to make it be a direct extension. And then the other thing that has happened recently, and this, I mean, the Fire Festival made this famous, but then it happened again.
A Revolve Festival. That's
yes. So the Revolve Festival is a good
the
example
first week of Coachella. Yeah.
of why you have to make darn sure that anything that you've got planned also has all the logistics figured out, so that you don't end up getting labeled with some Fire Festival-esque experience where influencers are stuck without shuttles or left without water or things like that. Because if you get everything else right, and that's the one thing that suffers, your brand will suffer immensely. I think that making sure every single detail is thought all the way through, from whether it's on brand to whether the execution has all of the infrastructure and all of the logistics and all of the necessary ingredients, whatever it is that you've got, you really need to have somebody think that through to the nth degree to make sure any possible thing that could go wrong is accounted for.
Well, it's about making sure it's not just the fluff, that you have the support underneath it. You're right. Everyone can be wowed by the glitz and the glamour. You just had the Emmys. It's all red carpet. It's all glitz. It's glamour. It's everyone on the front. But if the back house of production fell flat, well, that whole thing would be ruined. An event is more than just what you see. It's more about how you bring it together and support it. Like Southwest, they might have cheap flights, but if it goes to pot because you don't have the support and the infrastructure to pivot when things change, it's all going to fall on its face. And that's the same for this question that you've asked. What do people need to know? I think we've addressed a lot of it, and a lot of that is make sure you can deliver on your promise.
Yes, agreed. Yes, otherwise you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Well, with that, should we get to buzzword reveal? It looks like neither of us caught the other's word.
I didn't catch you. No, I did not catch you, and I'm a bit disappointed.
I didn't catch yours either. Mine was communique.
Oh, that's not fair. Such an easy word. Yeah.
An official announcement or statement, especially when made to the media.
I remember you saying that word, and that's not nearly obvious enough.
Okay, what did I miss of yours?
Promulgate.
When did you say promulgate?
Because promulgate means to promote or make widely known. And I said that the airline industry pilot came out and said that we need to promulgate the whole message that the technology exists, etc.
I remember you saying it now and didn't think of it as being your word.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so we're tied.
Yeah, we're tied this week. You won last week. This week we tie.
You won the week before, so now we're it's even, Steven.
So we're not keeping count, April.
So anyway, thank you, listeners. You can catch the show wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and share the show to keep the content coming your way and this laughing in your ears.
Laughing in your ears. Okay. Before.
All right. Remember to subscribe, rate, and share the show to keep the content coming your way, to keep the education flowing and laughter in your life.
Oh my gosh. It's all about laughter today.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Well, thank you, everybody. This has been fun. We'll catch you next
time.
week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Did you like that?
I did.
Yeah.
Do you like my response?
Yeah. Flabbergasted.
I was.
Mm.
Is that your word of the day?
Yeah, it's next week's word of the day.
Next week's. You're gonna
I've
start
just
picking
snuck it
your
in
own.
early. Yeah. Flabbergasted.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I think it's a wrap.